Hello friends, welcome back to Software Academy, the place where you can build your career. In the last session, we have discussed what are the problems solved by DevOps and why many tech giants are running after DevOps. In today's session, let us continue our tutorials with DevOps culture. So let's get started. Let us discuss different aspects of DevOps culture and how these can be implemented in your organization. The first aspect which we are going to discuss is learn to trust. The basic idea of DevOps is to bridge the gap between the development team and operations team which exists from years and years. See, the development team focus is to develop the code in given time frame, whereas the operations team focus is to maintain the code with stability. Since their goals are different, there exists friction between these teams because of which the communication is not smooth and open. So as part of DevOps, creating trust among these teams plays a key role here. But to mention and to make it simple, we are using the words dev and ops. But practically, it applies to all the teams working on a particular software product. Now, how this can be practically implemented? So to create trust among different teams, the first thing which you can do is to take some time and review each and every individual and listen to their goals. Make them understand that all of us belongs to the same team and ensure that no one are in conflict. And the second thing is, once this is done, you can create a single goal which brings everyone together. For example, we can create a goal saying that we have to deliver the first phase of this product by this month end with 100% bug free. So what happened now? Now all the teams work together to fulfill their common goal, and even if they stuck up at any point, they will try to communicate openly and fix the issues to reach their common target. So this is how you can create a trust among different teams. The next aspect which we can discuss is embrace transparency. See, when there are multiple people working on a software project towards a common target, sometimes there would be a situation when no one knows exactly what is happening and where the process got stuck, other than the person who is directly involved. This leads to unnecessary delay and unnecessary misunderstanding due to the lack of transparency. So as part of DevOps, creating transparency and making each and every process visible to each and every stakeholder is very important. Now, how can we create this transparency? So we can create a single application which is accessible to each and every stakeholder who are working on the project. So the rest of the company should be able to see exactly where the process is. Anybody can look into this and understand how the process or timelines have to be and where they are now, and whether there is any delay at any stage and what is the reason for the delay, and because of which how will be the impact on the total delivery. So this will make all the people working on a particular project to be on the same page. Next aspect is break the silos. We had already discussed in a previous session that generally a project team is divided into multiple teams based on their roles, like design team, developers team, testers team, release engineers team, as you can see in the image 1. Because of which there will be a my team and their team mentality, which is not at all good for the overall project. So as part of DevOps, what we have to do is to break the silos, and then we have to create a cross-functional team. Now how this can be implemented? This can be implemented by creating a cross-functional team. We can create a single team with cross-functionality, like few number of developers, few number of testers, few number of release engineers, etc. All these members belong to a particular project. For example, they all belong to a new WhatsApp feature project, but they do not belong to sub-teams like dev team or QA team depending upon their role. And the next thing is to make use of this cross-functional team. We can do it by knowledge sharing. Everyone in the team has to share the knowledge periodically based on their expertise. For example, a team member having development skill set can share his knowledge about the best coding practices, and also a team member having testing skill set can share his knowledge about new open source tools available for the test coverage, etc. This would benefit both the individuals and the organization. So, individuals can expand their skill set in various directions rather than limiting himself to a particular skill, and which would obviously help him in his career. And organization can easily place a particular member in a different role if it demands, rather than going for a new recruitment. And the next one is to follow the principle everybody all together from early on. This means everybody has to be involved from the start of the project. For example, it's not that the QA team comes into picture only once the code is developed and released to QA for testing. And the next one is regular communication. So regular stand-up meeting has to be arranged with all the stakeholders to track the progress, exchange the ideas and discuss the problems. This would benefit the organization and also benefit the individuals. The next one is eliminate blame game. This might not be new to us. Generally, whenever there is a failure in the project, blame game would start in seconds. Developers would blame testers and testers would blame developers, and one team would show fingers to other team, and this cycle continues. In DevOps, there is no place for blame game. Now, how to eliminate this blame game practically? So, after every failure, we have two chances. One, start the blame game. Other one, we can arrange a retrospective session with all the stakeholders to analyze what went wrong, exactly where went wrong, and to make sure it doesn't happen again. So, as part of DevOps culture, going for choice 2 is the best option to save time, to save money, and to save the quality. The next one is eliminate fear and take risk. This we might have experienced multiple times. For example, if you are a developer and if you have seen some set of code which is not really required in the projection, but still you don't want to take the risk because you are just scared that what if something goes wrong in the production. Even though it saves you a lot of execution time, but still you're not going to take the risk, and this is because you have the fear. So as part of DevOps culture, we have to eliminate this fear and we have to take risk to stand ahead in the competition. So how this can be implemented? This can be implemented by creating a false proof environment, by analyzing all the possible issues that could occur in future. You should be ready with your backup plan. What if it goes wrong? And the next one is take the risk if you are gaining an extra mile with this particular dissection. But you should be ready for both the rewards and the issues. You should be able to tackle the issues. So the next one we can discuss is shared responsibility. Generally, when multiple people are working in a team, the shared responsibility is not felt within a team. For example, the developer's mindset will be like, I am a developer, my role is to develop the code, test the code and release it to QA. So once the QA completes the testing and once the QA gives a green signal to deploy the code, if something goes wrong on production regarding the code, it's not my issue because QA hasn't done the testing properly. So this is the one which we have to avoid in DevOps. So how this can be implemented? So this can be implemented by creating a responsible feeling by each and every member of the team. Whatever he is, whether he is a developer, tester or release engineer, whatever he is, they should feel the shared responsibility. So how can you do that? For example, if something goes wrong in the production, so developers should know that he will also be questioned. He should also help the QA team or who should also help the production team to fix the issue. He can't just sit at his home while these people are busy breaking his heads. And this combined effort could help you to solve the issue in less time and make it smooth. And the next one is seek rapid, useful feedback. See, we want to know our problems even before our customer does. We want to have as many few problems as possible to make into production, and we should be ready with an alternative plan and approach even if the problem reaches the production. So this can be only possible by taking the feedback, that too useful feedback, rapidly most often. And this is a part of DevOps culture. Now, how this can be implemented? This can be implemented by taking technical feedback from various stakeholders who are working on this product at each and every stage. For example, once the code is developed by the developer, he can take the review from all the developers who are working on that particular branch. So once he received the feedback, then the code can be moved to the QA team and he can take the feedback from the QA team regarding the issues and he can fix those issues. Post that, you can also have a manual feedback taken from the reviewers who are at higher management level, who can review the code and who can give their feedback, and post reflecting all these feedbacks, then you can deploy it to staging and give it to the customer. So you can take the technical feedback from the customer also, whether it is as per his expectation, whether the throughput is fine. So accordingly, what you are trying to do, you are trying to reduce the problems at each and every stage. And the next one is to take the technical feedback from customer before going live. This we have already discussed. So once the code is moved to the staging environment, you can ask the customer for a technical feedback. And the other important feature generally people ignore is the non-technical feedback. So here we should also evaluate ourselves whether we are working as a team properly or not, or are there any conflicts between us because of which the product is getting delayed or we are compromising on the quality. So the feedback is very important to improve our product, and this is part of the DevOps culture which we have to incorporate for sure. So we are almost at the end. So the last aspect of DevOps is high communication skills. So this is not only as part of DevOps, this is a common thing all the recruiters will be looking, and that is how in each and every job profile this will be one of the mandatory requirement, whatever the technology is, but still they mention that good communication skills is required to be selected. So now how to implement this? So what I am trying to say is the communication should be very clear in terms of the requirement, scope and everything. So whether you are trying to explain to other team members, you should be able to communicate it clearly in explaining your requirement. At the same time, whenever you are taking the KT from the other team member, you should be able to understand the requirement clearly, and no one should work with any assumptions or gaps in understanding, because this could lead to wrong product and unnecessary delay. That is why I am saying the communication skills should be high and it should be open between all the members in your team. So guys, we are at the end of our discussion. So in the next session, we would cover DevOps toolchain, software configuration management in particular, and hope you guys like this video. If so, please subscribe to our channel Software Academy, the place where you can build your career. Thank you. Happy learning.